Welcome to Season 2 of Solopreneur Success Strategies. This is Jane Gardner, and we are going to be talking about home business startup. And we're going to be talking about starting, running, and growing your own home business, whether offline or on. Monday is all about mindset, of course. Tuesday is all about starting a home biz. Wednesday is about selling, sales, and your customer. Thursday is going to be about running your home biz, and Friday will be growing your home business. Saturday is all about putting systems in your business, and Sunday is all about strategy. So subscribe to this daily podcast to help you start, run, and grow your home biz. For more information, go to bo8hb.com. Hello, this is Jane Gardner, and today it's all about mindset because it's Mindset Monday. And we're talking about the mindset of being an entrepreneur and how there are certain traits to be an entrepreneur and how the mindset of an entrepreneur can be what creates your success. So we've had a look at some of the traits of the mindset of an entrepreneur, and today we're talking about another trait of an entrepreneur, and that is taking responsibility. President Truman, Harry Truman, had a sign on his desk that said, "The buck stops here." What he meant by that was, as president, he did not have the option to pass the buck when it came to mistakes or failures. He was the boss, and the buck stopped getting passed with him. Well, that's pretty smart advice, and for any entrepreneur, you have to be aware that you cannot blame others, that in the end, even if it's not your actions, it's someone else's actions, it's always your responsibility, as you are the owner of the business. So when it comes to the results of decisions you make, don't pass the buck. Everyone is happy to take credit for a successful outcome, as well they should if they are directly responsible for that success. That's the easy part. The hard part is owning up to your own mistakes. There's somewhat of an inclination to try and blame someone or something else for a negative outcome. The most successful people fight that inclination and accept the blame for their mistakes as readily as they accept congratulations for their successes. They do so because they realize that being the captain of the ship means that all decisions start and end with you. If you happen to make a bad decision, then you own that fact. Tighten your belt and move forward, armed with the decision that you own it and that you will never repeat that mistake again. This is the part of the process of growth and moving forward in your business. It's the process that demonstrates that the greatest opportunity arises from failure. By avoiding the repercussions of that failure, you also avoid the opportunity to grow as a leader and learn from your own mistakes. In other words, you condemn yourself to make that same mistake over and over if you don't accept responsibility for it being your mistake. So if you and when you're faced with a bad business situation of your own making, don't pass the buck. The buck stops with you. Accept that and move on. Now, I think we can all remember and know that there have been many bad decisions made by Elon Musk. He is an entrepreneur who is willing to make mistakes and try something new, try something that no one else does, because he's an adventurer in terms of being a risk taker. But in the end, he always takes responsibility to his stakeholders as to what happened in terms of a mistake. Believe a few of his satellites have exploded at some point, I'm sure, and they learn from their mistake and they move on. They are still moving forward with the possibility of personal passengers in space vehicles, etc. And of course, Tesla would never have happened without him having the fortitude to continue with the venture, even though many people said it wouldn't succeed. And of course, even now it's having issues with funding, but they find ways to work with it and work with their mistakes so that it's continuing on, and they're starting a new Tesla vehicle. So they don't stop just because they make a mistake. They learn from their mistakes, as any entrepreneur should learn from their mistakes and move on. There are many mistakes that you can do in your business. There's certainly ways you can miss deadlines. You can make a mistake in your product or service delivery that makes other people unhappy, and you work with those people to make them happy at all times. You as the owner, you as the entrepreneur have to accept that no one else is responsible for a mistake. Even though maybe an employee may be did the mistake and made the mistake, as the owner of the business, you're responsible for the business, and you should accept that as a failure and move on from failure. Failure is a topic that we could talk about endlessly today, but today we're going to say, take responsibility. Make sure that the buck stops here when you are an entrepreneur, and make sure that you learn from those mistakes. Thank you for listening, and I hope that bucks you up today, and you realize that failure is not a failure. Failure is just a mistake that you learn from and you move on. Thank you for listening. Well, I hope that will give you some ideas to implement in your own business. And if you want more, go to boahb.com and subscribe.